Hey there, everyone, and a super energetic welcome back to LexTalk, exploring English and linguistics in Thailand.
Great to be here.
You've tuned into the final episode of Season 4, that's episode 10, and we are really thrilled to have you with us.
Absolutely. Whether you're a longtime listener, maybe a new follower, or just curious about English language education.
Yep. And today, we're taking a deep dive into something really relevant for, well, all of us involved in English learning here in Thailand.
That's the whole online versus in-person learning debate, right?
Exactly. We'll be unpacking what each brings to the table, looking at the pluses and minuses.
And really trying to understand how they fit into our unique Thai context. It's so important.
It really is. For you listening, maybe you're an educator, a parent, just someone who loves language, understanding these nuances is key.
Yeah, definitely more important than ever now. We've looked at quite a bit of material to try and bring you a rounded view on this.
Okay, let's get straight into it then.
Let's do it. Our sources really seem to highlight how the COVID-19 pandemic just acted like a massive accelerator.
Oh, absolutely. Push digital learning right to the forefront globally.
And for many of you listening, this probably meant a really rapid shift, maybe even a bit jarring, to online classrooms.
Yeah, and thinking about Thailand specifically, the speed at which ESL education adapted here
Yeah.
and across Southeast Asia, it was quite remarkable, wasn't it?
It really was. You, our listeners, you likely experienced this directly. Teachers adapting, learners navigating new platforms.
A steep learning curve for many, I'd imagine.
For sure. And now, as things have shifted again, we're in this interesting spot where both online and in person are kind of coexisting.
Right, they're both very much part of the landscape now.
So the core question we're really digging into today is, for you, what works best? And maybe more importantly, under what specific circumstances does each mode really shine?
That's the crucial part. It's not about saying, this one is the answer.
Right.
It's more about looking at the strengths and, yeah, the weaknesses that each environment presents for you, the learner or the teacher.
Okay, so let's start with online learning. What are some of the clear advantages that our material points out for someone like you listening?
Well, the big one, the one everyone mentions first, is flexibility. Incredible
There's
flexibility.
something in place, right?
Exactly. Fitting lessons around your schedule, learning from almost anywhere with the internet, that's a game changer for people balancing work, family.
Yeah, huge, especially maybe for adult professionals looking to upskill or maybe people in more remote areas.
Definitely. And our sources also stress the wider access it offers.
Access to what specifically? Teachers, materials.
Both, really.
Yeah.
You could connect with teachers or find learning resources from, well, anywhere in the world, potentially. Things you might not find locally.
That opens things up quite a bit. More
Yeah.
diversity in learning.
It can, yeah.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are maybe more independent learners, the self-directed nature of a lot of online courses can be a real plus. You take control.
Good point. And something else that stood out for me was the recording aspect.
Ah, yes. The ability to record lessons,
For you as a learner, that means you can just go back, review things as much as you need to.
which is fantastic for reinforcement, right? Reviewing at your own pace.
Totally. That asynchronous element, revisiting tricky points whenever it suits you, that's
Right.
powerful.
It really empowers the learner for deeper understanding, I think.
But okay, it's not all sunshine and roses. The digital world has its challenges.
It certainly does.
What are some of the big downsides of online learning that came up, especially thinking about the varied context here in Thailand?
Well, maybe the most critical one, particularly in a country like Thailand with its diversity, is equitable access.
You mean internet and devices?
Exactly. Reliable internet. Having a suitable device. That's not a given for everyone, especially outside the main urban centers or in lower income areas.
That digital divide, it's a serious barrier, limits the potential benefit for many.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Great online stuff is useless if you can't actually get to it reliably.
Very true. What about the social side? How does online stack up there?
That's another area our sources highlighted. Online learning can sometimes mean less direct social interaction.
Which we know is so important for language learning.
Absolutely. Especially for building confidence, speaking naturally, getting comfortable. Those spontaneous chats, the group buzz,
Yeah.
harder to replicate online.
Yeah, that organic interaction. And let's be honest, the distractions at home,
Yeah.
they can be pretty intense, right?
Oh, yeah. Plus, just staring at a screen for hours.
Yeah,
Screen fatigue is a real thing for many of you.
definitely felt that myself.
So maintaining focus, staying engaged online, it often takes more conscious effort, I find.
And real-time speaking practice. group tasks.
Can be done, of course, with the right tools, but it sometimes feels less intuitive, less fluid than in person.
Okay. Now, our sources gave a specific Thai example of online learning in action. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, we looked at how some universities are running IELTS preparation courses using Zoom.
Ah,
Okay.
okay. Relevant for many listeners.
Yeah. So for you preparing for IELTS, this could mean the convenience of online mock tests. And some platforms are even using AI for feedback on performance.
AI feedback.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it shows how technology can be used very specifically online for certain skills and assessments.
That's a really practical example, especially for anyone thinking about IELTS. Okay, let's pivot now. In-person learning. What are the big wins for being in a physical classroom?
Well, one immediate thing is often a more structured, more focused environment.
Fewer distractions, maybe?
Generally, yes. For many of you, being physically in a classroom helps create that sense of being present, engaged, less temptation to, check your phone or do the laundry.
Fair point. And what about the teacher interaction?
That's key. You get that immediate feedback. The teacher can see you, hear you, correct errors, offer guidance right there in the moment.
Real-time correction. Very valuable.
Exactly. It makes the learning process more dynamic. Address misunderstandings straight away.
And it also fosters that social and emotional side, right? The communicative confidence through actually talking to people face to face.
Huge benefit. That direct interaction with teachers, with classmates,
Yeah.
it builds confidence in a way that's hard to match.
But human connection, it just feels so central to language, which is fundamentally about connecting.
It really is. Picking up nonverbal cues, having those little side conversations, building rapport.
Building a community in the classroom.
Yes. That sense of community can be a massive motivator and support system for you as a learner. Teamwork happens more naturally, too.
Okay, but in-person isn't perfect either. It has its limitations. What challenges did our sources mention for this mode?
Well, a key one is dependency on local resources. Teacher availability, quality of instruction. It can vary a lot depending on where you are.
So access isn't guaranteed here either, just a different kind of access issue.
Precisely. And fixed schedules. That's tough for working adults or people learning from remote spots who can't easily commit to set class times.
Less flexibility, basically.
Much less. And another point raised was that just being in a classroom doesn't automatically mean great learning.
How so?
Well, if the teaching methods aren't interactive, if technology isn't used well to enhance things, it could become quite passive for you, just listening to a lecture.
Right. The methodology still matters hugely, regardless of the setting.
Absolutely. Good in-person teaching often benefits from being interactive and, yes, leveraging technology too.
We also had a Thai example for the power of in-person, didn't we?
We did. It highlighted young learners in Thailand, boosting their speaking confidence.
How?
Through things like role-playing, collaborative storytelling, dynamic, interactive activities that really thrive face-to-face.
Ah, yeah. You can see how that immediate interaction and peer support would work well there.
Exactly. Great for getting younger learners, or maybe shyer learners, comfortable with speaking.
So, okay. We've looked at the strengths, the weaknesses of both online and in-person, which naturally leads to the question, when should you use which?
Or how you might combine them, right?
Yeah. When is each approach most effective for you, the learner or teacher?
Well, the sources suggest online learning really shines for things like independent study.
Like grammar review, vocab building.
Exactly. Things you can often do effectively on your own time. Also, preparing for standardized tests like IELTS.
Because of the practice materials available online.
That and the convenience. Lots of online resources, practice tests you can access whenever.
And that flexibility, again, makes it good for adult learners, evening or weekend courses.
Definitely. And think about using online platforms for, say, asynchronous assignments or flipped classroom models.
Flipped classrooms, where you do the lecture part online beforehand.
Right. You engage with the core content online, maybe watch videos, do readings.
And then use the valuable in-person time for discussion, practice, application.
Precisely. Frees up class time for the interactive stuff.
Makes sense. So conversely, in-person learning seems best for
activities heavily focused on speaking practice, drama-based learning, communicative tasks where that direct, real-time interaction is paramount for your development.
things that are just easier or more effective face-to-face.
Often, yes. And also perhaps in settings with limited tech access or for very young learners who might need more direct hands-on support.
And facilitating group work, presentations.
Yeah.
Probably smoother in person, too.
Generally, yeah, less logistical hassle sometimes.
Which brings us neatly to the idea of a hybrid model.
Yes. The blended approach. Our sources point to this as potentially really powerful for you.
Combining the best of both.
That's the goal. Strategically blending the advantages of online and in-person to create, hopefully, a richer, more effective overall experience.
So you might use class time for speaking practice, group discussions.
While leveraging online tools for listening exercises, vocabulary quizzes, maybe even some writing assignments or assessments.
Tailoring the delivery method to the learning objective.
Exactly. It allows for catering to different learning styles and needs that you as individuals have, while maximizing the benefits each environment offers.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the main takeaway? The key insight for our listeners about online versus in-person in the Thai ELT context.
I think the most important thing to remember is that it's really not about declaring one inherently superior for you.
Not a simple, this is better.
No. The focus really should be on understanding when to use each approach, why you're choosing it, and how to use it effectively.
To get the best learning outcomes for English learners here in Thailand.
Precisely. Your specific learning goals, the context, your access to resources, these are the critical factors to weigh up.
That feels like a much more nuanced and frankly useful perspective. It's about informed choices.
Right. Adaptability. Making choices based on what works best for your specific needs and circumstances.
And for the educators listening,
The encouragement from our sources is really to be flexible, be creative, be willing to integrate different methods.
meeting students where they are.
Exactly. Whether they're learning digitally or physically, the aim is always to provide the most effective, engaging learning opportunities possible for them.
This has been really insightful. Thanks for breaking it down like that.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating area, constantly evolving.
And a huge thank you to all of you, our fantastic listeners, for joining us throughout Season 4, all 10 episodes. We really hope the insights we've shared help you in your English language journey, teaching, or learning.
Definitely. We hope it sparks some positive transformations, whatever your learning environment looks like. Keep exploring what works for you.
And please don't forget to follow LexTalk on all our platforms. We're on our website, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Just search for @LexTalk Podcast.
Stay connected.
All right, until next season.
Let's talk, let's learn, let's Lex talk.